Hello everyone, and welcome to Yoshi 1 Kenobi's Haunting Voyage of Zombies. In this deck, we play a zombie tribal deck that's centered around Haunting Voyage, which is a 6 mana sorcery which we want to foretell and then cast for 7, where we choose a creature type, zombies, and return all the creature cards from the graveyard that share that creature type. So return all the zombies from our graveyard to the battlefield. If we don't get to foretell it, then we cast it for 6, and we get to bring back 2 zombies, which is still fairly good. So how do we pay so much mana to cast Haunting Voyage? Well, the answer is Titan's Nest, which is why we're playing Sultai colors. Now, Titan's Nest allows us to sacrifice our non-zombie cards from our graveyard to pay for mana of spells. Also, with the Scry every turn, we get to put the card in the graveyard if we don't like it. So we get to feed our graveyard with a bunch of cards that'll be used to pay for the mana cost of the cards we want. Or feed the zombies into our graveyard so that we get to revive them with the Haunting Voyage. It helps us to dig for said Haunting Voyage. So the synergy of Haunting Voyage and Titan's Nest works great together. Now, one of the biggest payoffs to revive is Grey Merchant, who is a zombie. So for whatever amount of black mana sources that we have in play, or black mana symbols, then we'll drain our opponent for that number of symbols. So if we revive a bunch of zombies, we drain our opponent for a lot. Narfi, King of Zombies, give our zombies +1/+1. Also, we get to play 3 snow mana to revive it from the graveyard. And as for the rest, we're playing Mire Tritons and Tymaret Calls the Dead to feed our graveyard. Also, Mire Triton's a zombie, Tymaret makes zombies, and there's a little gain X life and scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control, which goes well with our tribal synergies. We're playing the Dragr Necromancer, the zombie necromancer that allows us to play creatures our opponent has that we just killed. Binding the Old Gods, that's a removal spell that allows us to fix our mana by fetching Zagoth Triomes, so we get to cast Titan's Nest more reliably while playing 10 snow-covered swamps. And that's pretty much the deck. We have a pair of Agadeem's Awakening as backup revival spells, 4 Murderous Rider because it's a removal spell, that's also a zombie, and 2 Priest of the Haunted Edge, that's removal spell, that's also a zombie. And that is Zombie's Voyage. Now let's see this deck in action with some games. We are playing a Haunting Voyage of Zombies on MTG Arena Standard. Our opponent is Fuzz Nuts. Playing Ashiok based deck. Have a Titan's Nest, a Narfi, and a bunch of priests. Or we can keep this. Playing against White Weenies. Let's open up with our Zagoth Triome. Priest of the Haunted Edge isn't that good considering we have 0 snowlands. Then again, our opponent's not being overly aggressive. Let's go with the Priest. It's a blocker at least. Do need to draw a land fairly soon. Ideally Snowland, because our opponent's going to be able to activate the Speaker of the Heavens otherwise next turn. Alright, well, that's a good draw. Kill the Speaker, and you can't dodge this. The opponent offers a Selfless Savior and sacrifice for no apparent reason. We'll take it, and we'll call the dead. We'll exile a priest. We have a backup one, and we'll make it 2/2 zombie. Staring down the face of that puppy. And the Steadfast Queen. She has a pretty nice sword. Opponent is stacking White Devotion. And we draw the Haunting Voyage, which is excellent. Well, get rid of Mire Triton. Play another Tymaret Calls the Dead in order to feed our Titan's Nest. Titan's Nest hits the graveyard. We'll exile it, make another zombie. Get our zombies to pile up. We have our combo in hand. And the opponent doesn't have much pressure. We are going to triple block Linden, which will cost us a zombie for Selfless Savior, but that's fine. Just want to avoid some kind of instant speed removal spell, which I can't think of anything white would be playing. Alright. Zombie for a Savior. I'm happy with that trade. Zagoth Triome. I'm moderately happy with that. Hit a Narfi. Exiling Tymaret Calls the Dead. Haunting Voyage, Draugr Necro. Don't really want any of these. We already have the Haunting Voyage, which we're looking for. Play the Zagoth Triome. Might as well foretell the Voyage. And I'll pass the turn back. So right now we have Narfi, Mire Triton, Dragr Necromancer, and Murderous Rider. Which in all honesty is probably good enough. It's not the one-turn kill Grey Merchant that I'm looking for. But it might be just good enough. Actually, it might be necessary, considering the amount of pressure the opponent's exerting. Grey Merchant on the top. So we'll get it next turn. Play this for black. Get the Titan's Nest. I guess knowing that I would have played the Titan's Nest, I should have put Grey second, so I could have milled a card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll want 5 for that. Let's use 1 to bring in the priest. And we'll pass the turn back. So to cast Grey and the Haunting Voyage, that's 5 plus 7. We have 5 lands, so we need 7 cards in the graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Maybe I should not have exiled that thing for the Priest of the Haunted Edge. Although I can always just sack the Priest. Or revive the Grey Merchant. Now that I think about it, there's no advantage to casting it. Murderous Rider. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Let's kill off the Alseid of Life's Bounty. As the Alseid is going to call protection on Linden, or not, then we'll get to keep up our Murderous Rider. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Haunting Voyage. Bring back all the zombies. And Grey Merchant will ping you for a lot. 9, to be more precise. Feeding back the Titan's Nest. Actually, might as well kill London since it's a good blocker. Exile this. Making use of Titan's Nest. And that's how you play zombies. You just swarm the board from the grave. Using Grey Merchant. And that one card in your hand has better be a board wipe for your sake. Although even if it is a board wipe, then we do have Narfi. And mono white is typically not the deck that plays board wipes. So I'm pretty certain that this one's in the books. And that was awesome. Yep. It was good enough. The Zombies Voyage seals the deal. We are playing Haunting Voyage of Zombies on MTG Arena Standard against the Blue Sun Corp. Playing Tamiya, which is not standard legal, but will allow it. Alright, we have the colors we want. We have a Titan's Nest. We have Tymaret Calls the Dead. The only thing that we are missing is a Haunting Voyage. We do have Agadeem's Awakening, which is a substitute. Much weaker, but a substitute. Opponent's playing a Witch's Cottage. Interesting. So mono black, most likely. Well, we'll begin summoning our horde of zombies. Exiling Tymaret Calls the Dead. Yara, first of Lochwain. Well, there goes half of our Haunting Voyage. That one's a hard one. I think we exile Grey. Finding the Old Gods. You shall not stay. Hit you. Opponent draws and plays a Death Touch. Yeah. Foul Mire Knights. We get a Zagoth Triome. We get a Scry. Foul Mire Knight would be nice. Although I've already drawn. And I'm about to cast a Tymaret Calls the Dead. Well, let's leave them there. They're good reanimation targets. And we don't need that other Tymaret Calls the Dead. Let's play this on blue. Priest of the Haunted Edge. Attack you with a pair of zombies. That's the turn back. Nothing but an extinction event. Mire Triton. Opponent foretells another card. Ooh, that's a good draw. Move the enchantment. Play the land. We can Agadeem for 4. which is nice. But I think I'd rather just attack. Attack you with everything! And bring back Narfi at instant speed. Which is not really much of a surprise, but... might as well play the Titan's Nest. For scrying. Opponent's playing more zombies than we are, with Rise of the Dread Marn. Alright. Well, we have the king of zombies, and you don't. So we know how that's gonna end. Well, he's the Betrayer King, so I'm not sure if I should be worried. Because, I mean, our opponent's zombie horde does look quite appealing. They have some pretty nice beard. Ooh. Agadeem's Awakening. Brains us for a bit. Graveyard. Murderous Rider is pretty good. Get a Scry 4. Bottom. I'm not sure I want the Mire Triton that much. I guess so. Considering we have Agadeem's Awakening. Probably do. Kill a Yara. Actually, I should have manually tapped and kept my snow-covered swamps opened. Because now I don't get to Narfi. Endless Narfis. My zombies are stronger because they have masks. And they look like they have armor and sword. These zombies need to be better equipped. Not like Embercleave better equipped, but maybe short sword. Oh yes, when Narfi dies, all the zombies die. That makes sense. I was confused there for a second. That block from my opponent looked very weird, because it was blocking 3/3s with 2/2s, but my 3/3s were only ephemeral 3/3s. Lurrus. I don't like that. Infinite Mire Tritons is a scary proposition. Bring back a backup Lurrus. And we have ourselves a game, I think. Yeah, I'll keep the Mire Triton. So, we get the Agadeem for 4 still, if we want. For a Priest of the Haunted Edge, Draugr Necromancer, Murderous Rider. Seems pretty good, because then we get to kill Lurrus, bring back Lurrus. Let's go for that. Draugr, Priest, Rider. And I can't use Titan Nest because it has X in its mana cost. And we'll attack with a Murderous Rider. Because whatever dies gets exiled now. So our Draugr Necromancer directly counters Lurrus. Alright, the only card we don't know about is that card that their opponent has foretold. We know the opponent has a second Lurrus, which isn't very useful information. Graveyard. Grey Merchant. Yummy. Kill Lurrus. So it's an instant? So it's not a Haunting Voyage. Poison the cup, maybe? That makes sense. What else could our opponent have that's foretold in mono black? Rise of the Dreadmarn, maybe? Our opponent has already shown that they're playing at least one. I'll go black, black, blue for Lurrus. Because that's the way we like it. Then we'll replay the Priest of the Haunted Edge. Hit you with the Murderous Riders. Get access to them with our Draugr Necromancer. Rise of the Dreadmarn. You get zombies. I'll play your own Mire Triton against you. And we're at 27. And Draugr Necromancer is pretty much dominating the game now. As long as we get to keep it on the board, our position should be mostly unbeatable. A pair of Ayara, First of Lochwain. Not the scariest thing. Yes, our question becomes, do we want to kill the Lurrus or do we want to kill the Ayara? And honestly, Ayara into Grey Merchant is quite deadly. Mostly when we play it. Yep, that's good. Kill Lurrus. And our opponent sees the loop, and the fact that our Draugr Necromancer is going to allow us to play everything our opponent has. And that's how zombies do it. Kill stuff your opponent owns, or raise them by your side. Zombies at their best. We are playing a Haunting Voyage of Zombies on MTG Arena Standard against Ross, the biggest boss. Who's playing Yorion? We'll keep this. Looks okay. Just okay. We need to figure out which flavor of Yorion our opponent is playing. Doom Foretold or the Sultai Ultimatum? Or the Control Yorion? Or even Mono Red Yorion? We'll keep this. We have all our colors, we have Snow Mana. Seagate Reborn. Foretell. Seems like a control variant. Mire Triton, time to mill. Grey Merchant Titan's Nest. Let's just start. Having a Grey Merchant in the graveyard is always a good thing when our main game plan is to play Haunting Voyage. Except when our opponent has counter magic. Ping you. Play green. And pass the turn back. Opponent cracks the Fabled Passage. Just Guy. Shall we dare see a Narset? Only time will tell. Opponents pondering. Opponents ending their turn. Combat. Hit ya. Opponent plays a baby shark, which we will kill with our Death Touch and our stronger attack power. Then we'll play the Draugr Necromancer, which is really a glorified 4/4/4/4 in this matchup. It's still an attacker. I'll take an attacker. But our deck's really the dream matchup of beat down opponents. Dream matchup of a control opponent. Because we tend to play only one threat per turn, and as long as you counterspell our big payoffs, we aren't that threatening. Although Narfi Betrayer King can be quite a potent threat, since it keeps coming back. Opponent counters. That's fine. As long as it's not exiled, it might as well have been returned to my hand. Actually, it's going to be cheaper to cast from the graveyard, and we can cast it at instant speed. It's not really cast, it's an ability. Same thing. Opponent gives us a warning with a Raven. Opponent keeps on reading the Dragr Necromancer. Probably means it's gonna die. Opponent buys Yorion. We will let Tymaret call the dead. Opponent has a negate up. Oh, or a sod coming. Alright. Hit you for 5. And pass the turn back. Opponent gets to put any card on top of their deck. And we're not even going to see what it is. What would be good against us? Bunch of things, mostly things that exile. How close are we to Agadeem's Awakening? So we can Agadeem for 3, which is a Mire Triton. Very unimpressive. But in 2 more lands we get to Agadeem back Grey Merchant. And then things start to be interesting. Alright, Yorion for nothing. As we bring Yorion to a swift end. Attack you with both our creatures to hit you for 4. Now I really want an even costed threat, so I'll play Tymaret Calls the Dead. Which will also feed our graveyard. Exiling Tymaret Calls the Dead, passing the turn back. Also, we get to Yorion the Tymaret Calls the Dead if... yeah, these things weren't gonna survive. Exile Titan's Nest. Play Snow-Covered Swamp. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Sometimes it's just hard to count lands. We're 1 mana short of bringing back Grey and winning the game off of Agadeem's Awakening. So instead we will go with the instant speed Betrayer King. Glass Casket. That is fine. Bring back the Betrayer King. Surprise! Which you knew about all along. Double Binding the Old Gods. No, one's probably fine. And we should be able to keep on buying back Narfi. Well, the opponent needs to deal with Narfi. And if they do, we have lands to bring back Grey Merchant. So they need to hold up counter magic. And they're dead. They're dead to Grey Merchant. Mire Triton, Draugr Necromancer, and a Murderous Rider. For safeguards. Boom! The zombies are back from the graveyard. And you are back in the graveyard. And that's how you do it. By reviving stuff. Zombies from your graveyard. As they should. We're playing Haunting Voyage of Zombies on MTG Arena Standard against Don Lardos. Two lands is not nearly enough, but we'll keep it anyways. Opponent is playing a Yorion deck. Who knows what else awaits us in our opponent's list. Okay, Sultai. So Emergent Ultimatum and Shenanigans is the likely culprit. Split us on green. And cast the Fearless Mire Triton. Milling a pair of Titan's Nest. Not quite our favorite milling targets. Agonizing Remorse, we'll lose the Haunting Voyage, probably. Or the Tymaret. Actually, we'll let our opponent decide. I'm assuming the opponent's anti-fun will remove the Haunting Voyage. But really, Tymaret Calls the Dead is the likely one. It's probably the best one to take. Okay, Mire Triton. Also a fine pick. But that means we get to Tymaret. Because we drew the land we needed to draw. Hit you with the Mire Triton. See, the fact that the Mire Triton exiled one of these Titan's Nest, or milled one of the Titan's Nest, is already paying off. Crawling Barrens for opponent. Maze Mine Town. Sultai Control. Alright, we hit a Grey Merchant. That's good. The lack of lands is a big problem. So I think we foretell the Haunting Voyage. And attack for 4. Attack our opponent! Alright. What do you have in reserve for us? Extinction event. Alright. Everything was even. We deserved that. Another Haunting Voyage. Not really what I was looking for. We'll apply whatever pressure we can with this Murderous Rider. It's a little slow. Okay, a lot slow. But it's all we have. So we're going to apply whatever pressure we have. One is going to exile our Haunting Voyage, or the second Murderous Rider, since we're super far from casting the Haunting Voyage. Or take away our useless card. That's also fine. That's good. I like binding the old gods. Lifelink. Pass. Opponent draws a card. So now if we hit the land, we'll be able to ramp to 5 lands, getting us fairly close to our Haunting Voyage. Of course, our opponent is fairly close to an ultimatum. Ah, there's the land we were looking for. Hit you for 2. You want to draw with that Maze Mine Town? It's the last thing you'll do with it. And we pass the turn back. Opponent on 6 lands. Opponent on 7 cards to our 2. But we're ahead on life, so we're winning, right? Fabled Passage. Cracking it for blue, I imagine. Hard casted Yorion. For no value. We get a forest. Play the snow-covered swamp. Cast a kill spell on the Yorion, which was probably a bait, but that's okay, we'll fall for it. We'll attack with the Murderous Rider, and we'll foretell a Haunting Voyage. Opponent's on 6. Opponent Ugins. No, opponent does not Ugin. We have the Grey Merchant in Graveyard. And now we just drew the land for it. So the question is, does the opponent have the counter spell? Pretty sure the answer is yes. Gonna try it anyways. Haunting Voyage for game. Opponent pauses, deciding whether they want to counterspell this or lose the game. I'm pretty sure the opponent wants to counter this. Putting a lot of thought into this. You can also tick up your Crawling Barrens. Opponent decides to counter and stay in the game. Wise decision. I guess the decision was which counter spell to use. Negate or does this Disdainful Stroke, potentially. Opponent's making sure to keep at least one blue mana up. Fae of Wishes fetches a second copy of Negate. Probably. Yeah. Now cast the Fae of Wishes, and don't hold back that blue mana. Alright, well, combat. Hit you with the Murderous Rider. Tymaret calls the dead. Feeding our graveyard even further. I'll remove a binding. I'll play the second Murderous Rider. And we'll pass the turn back. Extinction event's no longer a board wipe, since our zombie is even costed. Opponent has 3 unknown cards. Crawling Barrens. But we have 3 lethal attackers. Only 3 unknown cards. Opponent needs to keep that negate up for a Haunting Voyage. Shadow's Verdict. That's unfortunate. Mill Tree. Exile the Titan's Nest. Get a zombie. Make a cleric. The Priest of the Haunted Edge. And pass the turn back. Opponent cycles. Also, top deck of Grey Merchant is lethal. So the more we get a scry with our Timmies, the better shape we are. Right now, the Priest of the Haunted Edge can give anything -1/-1. Which is disappointing on 7 lands. That's okay. Opponent carefully taps. Extinction event even. Hard casting the Fae. I'll just pass the turn back. You can buy back your Fae of Wishes. Or increase the size of that land. Opponent taps out for Ugin. Well, no. Opponent keeps the negate up and Ugins.
My draconic talents.
E4/4. At this point we want to buy some time. Though if the opponent buys back the Fae of Wishes, fetches a counter spell, and minuses Ugin, it's pretty much game.
I will destroy if I must.
Seems like a kill spell that's incoming. It's not the best matchup for the Dragr Necromancer anyways. Lechi's Thirst, kicked. You land. Let's pass the turn. Yeah, I think Ugin ult is too much. Yeah. I'll scoop it up to cling to dust. We no longer have a win con. But we got close. There's only that negate. The opponent just tripped and didn't put the blue mana and keep the blue mana up. We had it. But we didn't. The opponent did. We are playing Haunting Voyage of Zombies on MTG Arena Standard against JC. That seems good. I'll keep it. Bindings, Nest, Triton, and Murderous Rider. We have removal, we have a bit of mill, we have a Titan's Nest, we have ramp. The only thing we're missing is a pair of Tymaret Calls the Dead and a Haunting Voyage. Which is hard when you start with only 7 cards. Let's go with blue Mire Triton. We wanted to draw that Tymaret, not mill it. But that'll have to go. That'll have to do. Alright. What do you have, opponent? Usher the Fallen. I dare you to attack with that selfless savior. You know you want to. You've seen it on television. This little puppy just licking their foe when their foe getting sick with diseases. Probably. At least it's how I expect it to go down. Or maybe the puppy bites. Although I guess you can't really have weaker than 1 attack power other than 0. I guess he has claws and teeth. Redeem. Ugh. That's not good. I'll fire off the Swift End on the Selfless Savior. Well, not actually targeting the Selfless Savior, because then I won't have a target and I won't be able to cast the Murderous Rider. Do you know what I mean? I can play the Snowland, because it's going to enter tap. No attacks. I've been impressed with the God of the Wordy. Pretty strong card. Already has Vigilance though. So Sentinel's Eyes, not at its best on Redain. Skyclave Apparition, always at its best, because it's awesome. Swinging for 3 in the air. Alright. Snow-covered swamp, no attacks. Pass the turn. Next turn we get a Binding of the God, Binding the Old Gods. On a God card. So it's very thematic. For now we'll take 7. Play this on green, because we really need the green. Binding the Old God. Goodbye, Redain. And I'll pass the turn back. What do we have? You land and Tymaret calls the dead. Not the best to feed the Titan's Nest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess we can play Titan's Nest, land Grey Merchant. Which we probably want to play. One swings for 7, we will take it. Ugh. Didn't want to draw that. Titan's Nest. Exile Tymaret. Exile Snow-Covered Swamp. Green Merchant for 6. Pass the turn back. That's the problem with Titan's Nest. If you play too many, you draw too many. What are you going to do? Probably activate a Faceless Haven and swing for my face with everything you own. In which case we double block Skyclave Apparition, I think. But then you get to play the Sentinel again. Sentinel's Eyes. That face is a little creepy. But then it's on a spirit, so it's a creepy spirit. Activate Faceless Haven. Opponent's playing Spirit Rival. With 3 spirits attacking us. Okay, just 2. Just 1. Really should attack with the Skyclave Apparition. Do you have a trick? No, we gain 2 and get rid of a land. Normally would be a good proposition. In this case, not the best. Then again, we get a scry turn with Titan's Nest. Murderous Rider holds back the Usher of the Fallen. This we are keeping and drawing. We have a death-touching Murderous Rider who will do nothing. So there's a Mire Triton hidden under the Skyclave Apparition. We will blow it up. Getting back our 2/2 as a token. An illusion token. An illusion that's very real in this virtual card game. We get more scry. I can stay on top. Go play the Mire Triton, feeding our Titan's Nest. 2 cards. Actually, I should cast the other Titan's Nest. I've held it back in my hand for a little too long, but really, I could use the extra scry. Exile Binding. Bring in another copy of Murderous Rider. The opponent can activate Faceless Haven in defense, so we will pass. So now with what we have in the graveyard, we should probably just use the Titan's Nest to dig for a Haunting Voyage. Haunting Voyage or Grey Merchant. When it activates the Faceless Haven. Staring down our wall of creatures. Notice that it's a wall creature and not a creature wall, because there's no walls within our creatures. Have a nice double block with the Murderous Rider if you attack with the 5/4 Vigilance. Casting the Giant Killer, because we don't really have anything with 4 power. Well, we have Narfi. Narfi would be nice. Yeah, I have to keep that. It's too good. No attack, pass the turn. It's a game of patience. This is a good card in the grand scheme of things. It prevents our opponent from drawing something that blows us out. But I do want to make use of the Titan's Nests. Sword of the Realm. Okay. That's a little problematic. Come on, activate the Faceless Haven and equip it. Should have fallen. It's a little annoying, so we're going to bring it to Swift End. Just to save 1 turn of it. Because then the opponent can't Faceless Haven and attach it and attack. You have to attach it to Giant Killer, which I don't really care. Because if you attack with the Giant Killer, then I have a good counterattack. Well, that thing does have Vigilance. You have to keep that too. Just keep on drawing good cards naturally. See, problem when you want to make use of a scry 1 every turn. Then the opponent resigns, not letting us make use of our Titan's Nest, the scry for the actual power cards that are supposed to win us the game, and letting us grind them out with small pieces of removal. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe. It won't cost you any mana, and it greatly helps to support this channel and keep the awesome videos coming. Until next time, may the fun be with you.